In my beginning is my end. In my end is my beginning. With these two phrases, begin and end, T.S. Eliot's second of his four quartets, which he calls East Coker. In my beginning is my end begins the first section. And in my end is my beginning concludes the last section. And so I feel every Good Friday. In my end, in my beginning is my end. When I hear those phrases, I am taken back to biology class. And I was never a scientist, although I came from scientists. And it was explained very simply to me by Mr. Amos. When you look at simple cells in nature, the way to tell if they are alive is that they are dying. And the way to tell that they are dead is that they are not living. And the way we define are they living is are they changing? And the way they define are they dead is that they are not. And so in our beginning, in our birth, we begin to die. But the obverse is also true, and Eliot nails it in the second of his four quartets. In my end is my beginning. We stand here at the end of Holy Week, at the apotheosis of the Passion cycle, with Jesus in the tomb. Jesus as the disciples knew him, Jesus as the disciples loved him, Jesus as the mob welcomed him and condemned him, Jesus as Judas betrayed him, Jesus as they beat him, whipped him, stripped him, nailed him to the cross, crucified and killed him, was dead and buried. And the rock was rolled in front of the tomb, a borrowed tomb. The end. As a boy, I always felt a distinct emptiness on Good Friday. When we leave school early, it just felt an empty, empty day. Today, as I was leaving my apartment on the way to my car in my cassock, a friend of mine, a neighbor called Strauss, said to me, "You know, I'm a Jew." I said, "Well, I thought you were." And he said, "I never know what to say to Christians on Good Friday. Do you say Happy Good Friday? It just sounds wrong." And I said, "Well, think of it like Yom Kippur. What would I say to you on Yom Kippur?" He said, "You probably wouldn't say anything." And I said, "How about you say, hope you're looking forward to a happy Easter?" And I said, "That's probably about right." And we walked out to the street together. In my end, I have found since boyhood is always my beginning. Because when the tomb is our beginning, all things are possible because we're starting from nothing. The dead body of Jesus Christ means that all things are now possible because the resurrected body of Jesus Christ is the new beginning. The new body of Christ is us. Eliot, in his fourth section, is speaking, I interpret it as about his own death. I think he's speaking about the death of Jesus. And I offer you this fourth section of East Coker. The wounded surgeon plies the steel that questions the distempered part. Beneath the bleeding hands we feel the sharp compassion of the healer's art, resolving the enigma of the fever chart. Our only health is the disease if we obey the dying nurse, whose constant care is not to please, but to remind of our and Adam's curse, and that to be restored, our sickness must grow worse. The whole earth is our hospital, endowed by the ruined millionaire, wherein if we do well, we shall die of the absolute paternal care that will not leave us, but prevents us, goes before us everywhere. The chill ascends from feet to knees. The fever sings in mental wires. If to be warmed, then I must freeze and quake in frigid purgatorial fires, of which the flame is roses and the smoke is briars. The dripping blood, our only drink, the bloody flesh, our only food, in spite of which we like to think that we are sound, substantial flesh and blood. And in spite of that, we call this Friday good. In our beginning is our end is not the good news. In our end is our beginning. Through the death of Jesus Christ, his resurrection is possible. And through that death and resurrection, our death to a life that was imperfect, our death to a life that was agonizing, our death to a life that was unfulfilled, our death to a life that was frustrating, is possible and can be buried there with Christ, that we might rise again and anew with him. In our end is our beginning.